this building is not just the casa. This building used to be a portion. There was a building towards the back, and then right. Start off with the Palacio or Alice House, Charles House, to be more specific. The home had 17 rooms and a courtyard. There was also a throne room where the large image of a tree had been meticulously added. According to Spanish law, new laws could only be passed under a tree. Since Anisario was home to very few trees, they meticulously painted has been subject of much speculation over the rumored of buried treasure left behind by a Spanish viceroy. The presence of a viceroy in the area has been contested by historians, but did not deter the gold diggers and the local men wishing to try their luck. They have dug into the ground in search of a secret buried treasure left behind by the Spanish. So somebody brought in a psychic to see if there was actually a treasure. To which the psychic came into the room and they said, "Oh yes, I can definitely feel that there's something here in this building, approximately a treasure." So instantly, that was a go ahead for everybody. So they destroyed a lot of the buildings. They dug up a lot of the soils, and they couldn't find anything. Not until they finally went back to that original place of the psychic, and they shoveled and brought up some dirt until they found the gold coin, which would be that the only treasure. We're not too sure. However, this land is not the only treasure or something that's buried. Uh, thing that was left behind in the 1870s, because we also have the story of Charles Ellis. So during the War of 1877, the Salt War, Sir Charles Ellis, he was the store owner and a well-known liked member of the community. For his efforts, he was labeled as a spy and punished. So Howard, he came and talked to Charles Ellis. Ellis said, "Okay, I'm gonna go and talk to the people of Sanelli to see if they actually agree to put in that tax that you want." So Ellis, he said, "Okay." He did went to go and talk to the people of Sanelli. However, they labeled him as a spy. So Ellis, he quickly went to his house. He hid himself in his own wine cellar, and about a day later, the wife paid someone to bring him food. But that same person bragged to the people of Sanelli that he knew where Charles Ellis was. So they quickly went to go and get Charles Ellis. They dragged his body through the town of San Elisario, and at the very end, they sliced his throat.
Oh.
So one of his friends went to go and get his body in the middle of the night. They put him into a barrel, and they couldn't bring him in with a horse because it would have made too much noise, and they were really mad at Charles Ellis. So they put him in a barrel, or his friend put him in a barrel, and brought it to his house, and his wife, Teodora Lafcon, um, they buried him in an unmarked location, which we believe it was in that tree. Like I mentioned, to this day we still don't know where that body is, because it died with Doña Teodora, who suffered not only the loss of her husband, but also her livelihood, as her store was also looted and destroyed with the looting after Charles H. Howard. Standing in front of the entrance, others report the ghostly image of a woman pacing through the rooms. Could these be the echoes of Charles Ellis and his wife Teodora Lascon? Who knows? But it is a site of frequent paranormal activity. During the last year's tours, I came out here and practiced the tour. However, as soon as I started to mention Charles Ellis, the cat started to just run away, the dog started to bark.
What?
And things like that. As you guys can see out there, it is still under reconstruction, and hopefully it is ready by the next year, or maybe we're not too sure. It is on the county. However, there was some digging that happened here, and it was not cleared with the county historians and the archaeologists. So one time that I was at the museum, there was um, a professor, and he was really upset that they started to dig around, this area. and that's when he started to walk around. Well, he left and then he walked around, and not until he actually found what seems to be a human rib bone. So would that be Charles Ellis? I'm not too sure on that because it was a bad reconstruction. Um, so with that being said, we are going to move on to the right here.
Stadium, Texas, and it's haunted here.
This slab is made out of marble. It is probably weighs a ton, and for it to be here, it is a pretty baffling because it is 10 miles away, and for it to just wash up here in the canal, it's fairly interesting because not even the river could take the slab. We're not too sure. I just wanted to point it out. Or was it a ghost?
Where was the cemetery? There was a cemetery close. Town in Texas, close to El Paso. There's a lot of history here, and it's Garcia. The support. The support. I think November is the last month they're gonna do haunted tours, so I had to take advantage of it. Where are we going? There used to be a cemetery here too, a long time ago. Like 200 bodies I heard were buried. And then we had the Salt War. I think this would have it on the 11th.
I think
You guys gonna have Christmas parade here too?
that city, I hope so. But we do charge, we do are getting charged with the Illuminati.
Oh, I want to see that too. I love this stuff.
It is 2,000 likes that it gets 63, then 63, then Isleta got it from us, but then we got it back from Isleta got it from us, but then we got it back from uh, 1870s all the way to 1896. The last recorded burial, 1870s all the way to 1896. The last recorded burial was somebody named Picasso. In radar investigation. So they put in a lot of sounds in radar investigation. So they put in a lot of sounds into the ground and then see what into the ground and then see what frequency back up, and if there was something weak, even if there was something strong. Then around British or England land, then around British or England land, they actually put a string with a bell all the way to the casket, and if they were to be asleep and wake up, they just rang their bell to be able to indicate that they were to be asleep and wake up. They just rang their bell to be able to indicate that asleep until one day, 1940s, who notified the local constable Antonio Quillo. The constable determined to find the source and the reason for the strange lights, and with the help of three other men. As they walked into with the help of three other men. As they walked into the darkness, they saw the sudden apparition of a lighted candle moving across the cemetery. Sound. You're able to see a lot of bodies found. Sound. You're able to see a lot of bodies found right here. So right here is that one. And right over here we are located. So most bodies are located towards the.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. This was.
Not to not to like 6, 7, but we get like the San Isidro fiestas. Right over there, I'd like to. It's a theater. But today it is used as the city hall. It is the farm squad location. I'd like to also mention there's a door towards the back of the barracks. Straight forward is the.
Oh, oh my God.
Your flashlight, if you guys cannot see, just
Oh my God.
To hang him in the summer of that person saying, "Hey, since you're about to meet God, tell us to go to the gallows." He Bartolo to win the or punish the affections of a man. In our version, the children in the water, promising to return after her vows. However, the proud man refused to marry her, believing she had murdered her daughters. Distraught, she ran back to the canal in search of her children, uh, who had swept away down the length of the canal. The canal runs all through San Sario and was the main part of an irrigation system for the agriculture town. Known specific record.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I think I'll be drunk enough to help the Llorona. Good for her, kid.
Gia,
Ayan na, wala ni.
Gia.